Hello, beautiful people. Happy Monday or Sunday evening for my friends in the Northern Hemisphere. Well, some of the people in the Northern Hemisphere, welcome to another brainstorm by Jen. It's actually not a brainstorm, it's a heart storm. I'm just going to drop that straight in and you can all use that. We don't have brainstorms. Powerfully Peaceful Women have heart storms. So yesterday, quite literally yesterday, and I guess it sort of came about because I did the 5 days of card readings and what have you, which we will do today and whatever. And I had this heart sort of, explosion that just said and guided, why don't you do one of these every Monday? Carol's with me, yay! I'm so glad that you are here, beautiful woman, for my first Empower Hour. So I just had this heart explosion, this heart storm, not a brainstorm, a heart storm, that just said, rather than do these every day, because that's going to get a bit too much, but do one every Monday as a means of just setting everyone up for the week. Something, and strap in, because I don't know where these are going to go. I really don't. I may invite some guests to come and join me some Mondays, which will be kind of cool. I may invite some. Good morning, I'm here now. I got distracted. I get distracted easily too. Yeah, I may invite some people to come in and actually do some guided meditations, maybe some breath work. Who knows? Who knows what will be in our Empower Hour every Monday. How long will I do these for? Well, until my heart no longer feels excited and expanded by doing it. So I thought this morning what I would kick off with is just doing 3 really simple things. I want to have a talk to everybody about this concept of sensitivity and how can we make it a superpower. So I'm going to dive right into that. So one of the things that I come upon when I'm working with people is this hidden sensitivity that often gets masked or suppressed or buried underneath a persona that we've been handed that says, especially for women, that we have to, we've got to be tough, we've got to be, a badass, we've got to, make strong decisions, we've got to, put your boundaries in place, people, right? If anyone has ever said to you, oh, you need a boundary there, girl. I get it, right? I get it. Boundaries are, I'm not dissing on the boundaries, but I am suggesting that we're missing something. We're missing something that is really vital and really important, and perhaps a more peaceful pathway to creating a boundary that we no longer call a boundary, because we're going to harness our sensitivity. So let me give you an example of what I mean by this. So usually what happens when we have something come up for us, something, something salty, something spicy, something that kind of, gets us, we'll have a sensation in our body, right? Our body will tell us immediately, I'm not happy here. I'm not comfortable doing this. I don't want to say yes to this. I don't want to say no to this, whatever it is. Whenever, my daughter's pissing me off. My husband's driving me crazy. Whatever it is, the kids are sending me nuts. Why won't my 3-year-old do what I say? Usually what happens is when we get constricted by something, we will get a sensation in our body. And that's the first inkling that something needs to shift and change, right? But generally what we do is we suppress that, we shove it down and go, right, I'll show them, I'll give them the silent treatment, or I'll just go but I won't have fun, or I have to do it, because if I don't, who will, right? Or with you, if you've got little kids, it could be, I couldn't stand the hour-long tantrum. Whatever it is, right? We have a thing that kind of is, blocks and pushes down on the body, trying to tell us something needs to be recreated. Because that's what that sensation in your body is. It's saying to you, this doesn't feel fluid anymore. This doesn't flow anymore. This pattern doesn't fit anymore. And we need to recreate something. But generally what we do is the opposite of that, right? So what I want to offer today is just coming at the whole putting in boundaries just a little differently, right? And I received this wisdom myself from a beautiful mentor, and it just made so much sense to me. And it made sense because of some other, things that I know are true, because my body tells me they're true. So it's in and around boundaries. So if how does it feel to you when I say, you just need to set a boundary, right? Or you don't have a boundary there, or you need to go to someone and you need to put a boundary in place, girl. It's somewhat jarring, isn't it? It's like, well, first of all, usually what happens is you'll get a sensation in your body that has you go, no, I can't do that, because someone's going to get upset with me. It'll hurt someone's feelings. They'll think I don't like them. I'll be, rejected. One of the biggest obstacles for us putting in a boundary, which by the way is for our benefit, right? Boundaries sounds heavy. Yes, they do, don't they, Carol? I agree. The whole concept of setting boundaries sounds really heavy. And it does, right? It does. Because it's going to push against something that you've been suppressing, right? Which is your sensitivity. Because we've been told, what do you say? I feel like, I think you just said feel like boundaries are heavy. Yeah, they are. So, because as little girls especially, our sensitivity was like, come on. My dad used to say to me, come on, girly. He used to call me girly. I love that. It's his birthday tomorrow, his 90th birthday. Well, it would have been. He's passed away now, but it would have been his 90th birthday. And my sister works for the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and she thinks it's really cool that Census Night is on his 90th birthday. Anyway, I digress. But my dad used to say to me, come on, girly, toughen up. You're too sensitive, you need to thicken up that skin a bit. So of course, did anyone else have that as a growing up? Was your sensitivity kind of shown to you as a weakness? Yeah, probably. I'm sure it wasn't just me. And, this is no judgment on our parents. It really isn't. It's not a judgment on our parents at all. That's just how they were raised. We project. That's what humans do. We project what makes us feel comfortable onto everyone else. So that's how we show people how to treat you, right? So our parents that's just what our parents did. My dad probably got that from his parents. He was probably told not to cry as a little boy. And he felt safe being with his parents because surely the parents know best. Another side note, parents are just little kids in adult bodies. Just keep that in mind. But we don't, but just to come back before I go off on a complete tangent here. But our sensitivity isn't something that we lean into as something that can be used as a strength. But it can, particularly around setting boundaries. And the way we do it is this. Rather than when you're confronted with something, you get the sensation in your body. And let's just use a relationship as an example, right? And let's just use a relationship between, I'll use an example as my son and I. I'll use that as an example. So something comes up between my son and I get in, let's just say, for example, he never calls me back. Pretty familiar, right? I text him all the time and he never returns my text and never calls me back. He does, by the way. He's really good at that. My daughter, not so good, but he's really good at that. And I don't judge either of them. But let's just say for this example, that's what happens. So this goes on for, I don't know, a year, right? And I feel it building up in my body. The annoyance, the grievance, the angst, the pissed offedness, right? Then I start to create a pattern that says, yeah, he won't message me back. He's not going to message me back, right? And then someone tells me, you need to put a boundary in place around that. You need to put a boundary in place. And boundaries just don't have a real sense of love in them, do they? They're like, boundaries to me feel like my way or the highway, or your way or the highway. But here's what I want to offer, and just tell me if this feels different, right? My mission on this planet is to support people to live more peacefully, right? To have more peaceful relationships, to have more peaceful businesses, to have more peaceful homes, to have more peaceful lives, right? So I'm always looking for anything that is going to give you access to living more peacefully. Because when you're living peacefully, you're also living more presently, right? And the choices and decisions you make are going to come from love and not fear. So it's really important. So when I can find a way to take something that is quite jarring and create a more peaceful approach to it, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna share it with you guys. So rather than say to my son, okay, I need to put a boundary in and around this, I'm going to tell him if he doesn't message me back within 30 minutes, that's it. I'm not going to, whatever I've texted him about, off the table, right? Whatever. But instead, what if I create a new pattern with him? Doesn't that feel better already? I'm going to create a new pattern. Right? This is the coolest stuff. So rather than try and put in a boundary box how things are meant to be, I can sense in my body that this pattern isn't working. My body's telling me this, whatever's going on here isn't working, because my body's telling me that. I'm getting upset. So this pattern isn't working. This current pattern between us isn't working. So what if I create a new pattern instead? And rather than stand in my truth, which again is also really jarring, right? I'm going to stand in my truth. That's so guarded, isn't it? It's so There's no possibility from standing in my truth. But what about if we were just truthful? Let's use our sensitivity for good and be truthful and create a new pattern. Feels better, right? So if I'm going to create a new pattern with him, I need to be truthful with him. I need to tell him what's going on for me. Not make him wrong for it. Not blame him. Not, tell him it's my way or the highway. Not withhold my love from him, because boundary that's not set from a place of love is just going to withhold love from the world. So what if I instead create a new pattern with him and be more truthful about what's really going on? This is what I make it mean when you don't message me back. I make it mean that you don't love me. I know that's not true, but that's what comes up in my body. That's how I feel. And I also feel like I'm fracturing our relationship by holding on to that. So I just want to let you know that it would mean so much to me if you knew that, because if you know that, then you might actually want to message me if you know that's my truth. Yeah, if that's, and so for me, that's just a peaceful approach. For me, that's doing two things. It's bringing our masculine energy and our feminine energy together. Our sensitivity is our feminine energy, which we've been told to shove down, that it's weakness. But it's not. Our sensitivity, our feminine energy, is our pathway to love, right? To being peaceful. And we've got that door slammed shut. We need to open that door. And so our masculine energy is our doing energy, right? And of course we need to take action. Just having all those thoughts in my head, those, tapping into my sensitivity and not sharing that is missing the masculine, right? So here's a little thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but I learnt this from a beautiful woman. I didn't know it, but I love it. And so this is how it's my little anchoring thing that reminds me. So when you pray, the prayer hands, can you see that? So when your prayer hands come together, I think this is in yogic practice. So when your two thumbs come together, and in yogic practice, you leave a little bit of space there between your hands, and you bring those, your two thumbs that are now joined to your heart space. The purpose of that is to balance the masculine and the feminine energy in your heart. How good is that? So when I feel myself, being drowned in my sensitivity because I'm not taking any action to be truthful about my sensitivity, so that I can create a new pattern in an area of my life that's not working, I'm reminded that I'm drawing upon and bringing balance to my masculine and feminine. And even that just feels so peaceful to me. Okay, so that's my little share for you guys today on this Monday. I'm also going to draw a card for the week ahead. So let's do that. Let me know, Carol, how did that feel for you? Did that make sense? What was a takeaway for you from that? Would love to know. And can you see how that might create something different? Yes, I get told not to show emotions at work. Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But when we do that, we're not being truthful. We're suppressing. We're suppressing, a part of us that that needs to be expressed. These are kind of like, our heart has these, this is some stuff I'm learning at the moment. Our heart holds different templates for different things. And if the template isn't, firing, then we're going to be creating from a funky template. So our template of sensitivity, how can we enhance that? How can we give that some more power? Because we wouldn't have it if it wasn't needed, right? Every human being, everything, we don't have anything inside of us that is not necessary for our functioning as a human being. So to be told that an element of you, isn't, like sensitivity, don't be sensitive, we must have that for a reason, right? Somehow we've been given that for a reason. As he knew I was emotional in general. Yeah, right? But that's also a superpower for you, right? That sensitivity is your doorway to being truthful, right? And creating a new pattern with someone. Yeah. Amazing. I love it. Thank you for being on here with me. I would have just banged on about this anyway. You know that. I don't need any, I love, love, love when I have people to communicate with. But I will also, today's session has felt very loving to balance the feeling with the action. Yeah, so good, beautiful woman. And it's really, really, bringing our masculine and feminine energies into balance. We do need both. But at the moment, for most of us, our masculine energy is out of balance with our feminine energy. Yeah, we've been conditioned. And this is not just women. Men have got this same out of balance, right? The dominant masculine, and some of us are walking around with wounded masculine energy or wounded feminine energy. Yeah, which is most women and men. It's the whole boys don't cry. That's the suppression of the feminine energy, the suppression of the sensitivity, and it's needed. It's necessary. And language is such an important. Language is so important in terms. Oh, okay, radio. I see you. Yep, they're getting impatient with me. Oh my God, this is perhaps my favorite card in the whole deck. This came out in the final session of Unstuck 2.0, round 2 of the Unstuck program that I run for women, which I might run another one soon, who knows. However, this is the card that came out in our final session. I'm just going to try and show that to you. Gosh, this is beautiful in and of itself. So it's Akhilanda. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't need anyone to give me a lesson on my goddess pronunciations. I'm already going to land for you that I probably don't pronounce them correctly, but they don't mind. They don't mind if I get their names wrong because they know that I'm feeling them. So I think it's Akhilanda. Let's just say it is. Akhilanda, this is why I love her so much and why I love this card so much and why this is just so beautiful to share this today. She is the goddess of never not broken. How is that? This is the best. This gave me so much peace when I explored what this woman stands for, what this goddess stands for. The goddess of never not broken. Everything happens for my liberation. I choose to become only more love. And what she is about is she is about the awareness that what if we started from the space of we're already broken. We're all broken. Just let that land for a second. Her invitation is to remind us that what if we started from we're already broken? Oof, what comes up? Your brain will probably be going, but think about it. If you can come from the awareness that you're already broken, we all are, right? Because we're constantly expanding. So we're constantly being broken open. We're constantly broken open. So if we know that, if we know that we are constantly broken open, we can never not be broken. Which means we don't have to constantly try to strive for perfection, for enoughness, for I don't want to fall apart. I've got to keep my shit together. Yes, Carol. When we know we're never not broken, we just get to create from here. It's just language, right? Yeah. Look at birth, right? Birth for me is one of the most incredible metaphors for understanding life because it encompasses death and life and birth all in one thing. So we cannot have life without death. Death precipitates life. And what do I mean by that? Well, there are trillions of sperm that don't make it. So, not to paint a gory picture for you, but on the way to your creation, the path to your creation is littered with dead sperm. Death. A trail of death leads to your creation. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to know, right? And then as we grow, every trimester, everything, something falls away, something sheds, something changes. That's what expansion is. We're constantly breaking open. Constantly breaking open, constantly. So how beautiful to remember, thanks Akhilanda, that the goddess of never not broken. So I don't have to keep trying to keep it all together. She's beautiful. I'm going to find, we didn't do the soul voice meditation, so I'm excited to do that with you today and see what her question is. So I will, I'll put all this in the chat. Oh, the question is extraordinary. What heartbreak can I see now as an opportunity to expand? What heartbreak can I see now as an opportunity to expand? That's going to be our soul voice meditation question today. I'm going to read you when your soul selects her card, okay? Many of us exert tremendous energy in the effort. This is what I was just been saying. Many of us exert tremendous energy in the effort to not break or fall apart. I'm just putting my hand up. Yeah. Yeah, I spent a good 11 years in my last relationship trying not to fall apart or break. In fact, raising my children, oh my goodness, I just had a bing, bing, bing moment for myself. I spent the majority of my life as a solo mum trying not to fall apart. And I had a conversation with my kids just the other day, my daughter actually. And she shared with me that during her teen years, I wasn't emotionally present for her. Yeah. And I was able to receive that as her being truthful. Yeah. And the truth is, that was true for her. And I'm not going to justify it, but I will say, in my effort to not fall apart, in my effort to keep it all together, the cost was that I was not emotionally available for my daughter. What if I'd known that I could start from I'm already broken and been truthful and allowed my sensitivity to be my basis of communicating with my kids? It's a biggie today. Who knew? Okay, so yeah, many of us exert tremendous energy in the effort to not break or fall apart. We resist our grief, our heartbreak, or we deny the need to change until the choice no longer feels like it's ours. Something sideswipes us in our ordinary life and shatters who we think we are and how we identify ourselves. Here's what Akhilanda reminds us. Vulnerability is our greatest strength. If we are always broken, we can never break. Akhilanda is the most intimate and personally powerful goddess because she meets us in those moments when we can feel most alone, most exposed, and most afraid. She models how to thrive in the midst of change. She uses pain to joyfully and purposefully transform. She sees everything as an opportunity to release what isn't serving her. She creates new patterns. That's what she's doing. She's not putting in a hard boundary. She's just creating new patterns. And she knows that being broken isn't a failure or something we should avoid. It's actually the whole point. We are here to let our ideas of ourselves go up in flames, so that beneath the ashes, the soft core of who we truly are arises. And so that we remember that it's not the heart that ever breaks, it's the ego. The heart only ever expands. It reminds me of one of my favorite quotes as well. One of my favorite mentors said this years ago, and he said, nobody breaks our heart, they just break our expectations. Yeah, nobody can break our heart, they just break our expectations. So much. And what, here's what I wrote down when I went, what am I going to talk about today? 5 minutes before I jumped on the call. I wrote down, allow your sensitivity in. That was what I wrote down at the top of my notepad. That was it. And then we get this beautiful goddess, Akhilanda, the goddess of never not broken. She is the goddess of reminding us to allow our sensitivity in. It is a superpower. Okay. I love it. I love it so much. This is just me and you, Carol, today. I love it. I love that we've gotten to share this together. Oh, so good. All right. So let's do our soul voice meditation together. Yeah, for me too, Carol. For me too. Who even knew, that, my heart storm, not my brainstorm, but my heart storm, 24 hours ago to do an empower hour on a Monday morning would, release this. So good, right? Yeah. Yeah. And if nothing else comes from it, I feel so uplifted by it. That's so cool. Yeah, look at me. I actually feel like I'm glowing right now. Okay, let's do this beautiful soul voice meditation together. I will put the timestamps in the comments. I'll edit the comments and add the timestamps so that if you're catching this, it doesn't matter that I'm telling you this now. You'll see it in the comment, in the post, whatever. All right. Okay, so our question today for our soul voice meditation is, what heartbreak can I see now as an opportunity to expand? What heartbreak can I see now as an opportunity to expand? So we begin, remember our soul voice meditation is 3 intentional breaths. And just as a reminder, those 3 intentional breaths you can do anywhere, anytime. You don't have to go through this process. Though I would encourage a simple question that you can use anytime when you take 3 intentional breaths is this: what do I know? What do I know? What do I know? And just ask your higher self, ask your heart, ask your innate wisdom, what do I know? What do I know? What do I know? And just 3 intentional breaths, multiple times a day, will drop you back into the power of the presence of you. Yeah. Today we're going to do our soul voice meditation using the question from Akhilanda, the soul voice question from Akhilanda, which is, what heartbreak can I see now as an opportunity to expand? So let's begin. We have 3 intentional breaths. The first is where we take an intentional breath together, and I like to call myself back from all spaces and places. That just simply means I'm calling my energy back from wherever I've been today, whatever I've done, conversations, social media, texts, emails, whatever, situations, circumstances. I'm going to call myself back. And just do that for the first intentional breath. The second intentional breath comes after we've softened into our heart space, and it precedes the question. And our soul voice question today is, what heartbreak can I see now as an opportunity to expand? And then we listen for a minute or two for our higher self to guide us with a vision or a feeling or some words. And it's okay if you don't receive anything. You may be shown something later today. And then the third intentional breath is where we just take a breath together, and we just give gratitude for what we just heard or received or visioned from our higher self. Alrighty, so let's start this together, and just start by softening down your eyes. Not if you're driving, of course, but if you can, let your eyes softly close. And if it's more comfortable for you to just look down, then just look down. And let's begin by taking our first, maybe our first intentional breath of the entire day together. Let's breathe in and breathe out. And as we become aware of that first intentional breath, we call to ourselves, we call to our energies, wherever we may have left them today. We call ourselves back from all places and spaces. And just repeat that in your mind just a couple of times. And just notice the energies coming back into your body. You might feel some tingling in your heart or elsewhere. I call myself back from all places and spaces. When you begin to feel all your energies landing back in your body, today I'm going to invite you to imagine a thin white ring of light, kind of like an egg shape, circling your body. And you might even hear just a tiny, tiny, tiny soft humming from this ring of light. It's okay. Just let it enter your cells. Let it enter your body. Allow it to flood between your cells and your organs and your breath, wherever there's a space. This beautiful white light can make its way there now. And as the white light makes its way into all the spaces and places in your body and your being and your luminous energy field, allow yourself to sink. Notice yourself softening and sinking down, down, down into your heart space. Like melting through clouds, softening, sinking, dropping, until you feel yourself arrive in your heart. Allow yourself to be caught by the softness of your heart and settle there for a few minutes. And now we're going to take our second intentional breath together. And as we breathe out, we're going to ask our higher self, our heart, this question. So let's breathe in and breathe out. And the question we repeat, what heartbreak can I see now as an opportunity to expand? What heartbreak can I see now as an opportunity to expand? What heartbreak can I see now as an opportunity to expand? And just allow that question to be repeated in your mind. And then join me as we sit for a minute or two to allow the silence to respond. Let us come together now and take our third and final intentional breath together. And as we breathe in and breathe out, we offer gratitude for the wisdom in the silence, from the voice, the vision, the feeling from our higher self, or knowing that it will be revealed to us later in the day. Let's breathe in and breathe out gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Akhilanda, thank you, Carol, thank you to everybody who catches the replay. Thank you to my beautiful children who always teach and show me the way. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to every powerfully peaceful woman. Thank you, higher self. Thank you, heart. And when you're ready, just bring yourself back into wherever you are. Just bring your awareness back into your body. You might just rub your hands together or wriggle your fingers and toes, or just rub your hands on your legs. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and join me back here together. I love today a lot. What a beautiful way to start my Monday. So good. All right, Carol, thank you, gorgeous woman, for joining me here today for our first Empower Hour together. I really appreciate you a lot. Yeah, sending you lots of love for a magnificent week ahead. And remember, you can always come back and I'll put the timestamps in, and you can just go to the Soul Voice meditation or whatever part you want to re-listen to. Yeah, amazing. Mwah. All right, lots of love, and I will see you when I see you.